Welcome to Energy Transition Insights. I'm Steph Willis. I'm a senior analyst at Dunsky, and I'm going to be chatting with my colleague Mathieu Lévesque, who's a consultant at Dunsky, about heating electrification and a smart approach to heating electrification.
Hey, Steph.
Hey, Mathieu. So, a little bit of context about why we're talking about this. Heating emissions form a big portion of carbon emissions, and so meeting climate goals means decarbonizing heating to a very large extent. And as a result, there's been an increased focus on the electrification of heating. And so we've been doing more work on this topic, and wanted to talk to you a bit about the insights we've garnered through that work. So to start us off, Mathieu, why is electrifying heating a good way of decarbonizing heating?
Yeah, that is the good question, Steph. And it is the first question in that whole discussion here. So first, the grid is getting cleaner all the time. It is already clean in so many places, but everywhere it's getting cleaner. And so electrification means leveraging the clean grid. And the second answer is you're not going to use electricity a dumb way. You're going to use heat pumps. And heat pumps are very efficient. And that means you can efficiently leverage clean electricity. And as the electricity grid gets cleaner all the time, there you have your answer. It's an easy way to decarbonize heating. But of course, everybody knows about this. That's not why we're here to discuss about this. There are complications. It's not that easy. It's a lot more complicated than that. Right, Steph?
Right, yeah. So sounds great. You use a low carbon energy source like electricity, and you put it through a super efficient device. Great. The sort of catch, the nuance, and all these things are always more nuanced than you want them to be at first. But what's this going to do to peak demand? So most utilities in North America at the moment are summer peaking, but not all of them. So especially in Canada, we have quite a few winter peaking utilities already. So as heating becomes electrified, so switches from natural gas to electricity, what's that impact? What's the impact going to be on peak? And the problem here is that an air source heat pump is very efficient over the year, but when it's really cold outside, which is when buildings need the most heating, its efficiency falls and its capacity falls. So you end up in a situation where either you're heating with a low efficiency air source heat pump, or you're on an electric resistance element and you just have an efficiency of 1. And why is that a problem? Well, for winter peaking utilities, it increases their peak. But even for utilities that aren't yet winter peaking, there's still likely to be costs associated with providing that peak electricity, maybe at the transmission and distribution level in certain places that might be winter peaking. But also in terms of just procuring that electricity. And looking forward, that's especially going to be a problem because renewables have a low marginal cost of energy, but a high marginal cost of demand. So the more you need to rely on them at peak, the more turbines you have to put in, the more batteries you need to put in, that kind of thing. So as we go forward, peak electricity is going to get more and more expensive, and this is going to become a bigger and bigger cost for utilities. Having said that, there's some things we can do about that. So what are the sort of approaches we can take, Mathieu, to reducing the impact of heating electrification on winter peak?
Yeah, what you said is exactly right, Steph. And some people stop the discussion here. They say, no, electrification is too expensive. It's going to be too expensive for society. We can't build all these new generation and transmission and distribution for it. So do we stop here? Well, no, there are solutions. And I think there are 3 categories of solutions. First of all, there's energy efficiency and DR. Second of all, you can use heat pumps, but higher efficiency heat pumps, or heat pumps that are more efficient when the temperatures outside are colder. And the third option is partial electrification. So let's go step by step. The first one is energy efficiency and demand response. If you reduce your demand for heating, no matter what heating device you have, it's going to reduce your requirements for expensive peak. And demand response is getting more and more adopted. Batteries are going to get into that too. Prices are dropping. And so it really reduces the strain on the network if you go all electric. And the second piece, the second answer here are what I said are high efficiency heat pumps. And I'm thinking especially about ground source heat pumps. We know that air source heat pumps, as you described, their efficiency and their capacity drop as outdoor temperatures get colder. But ground source heat pumps, they leverage the ground's temperature, which remains mild throughout the year. And so you keep that high efficiency and that high capacity at low temperatures. And so we've done modeling in Canada, for example, and you can go through all the details, Steph, because you built actually our heat model that we leveraged here. But ground source heat pumps can provide a lot of value, even though they come with an additional price tag for the customer. For society as a whole, they can actually reduce the cost of heating decarbonization.
Right, exactly. So that the savings in terms of your impact on peak demand are so big in some parts of Canada that they justify not only that added incremental cost of the expensive ground source heat pump, drilling the well for the ground source heat pump, but also then they save society money after that. The best solution is technology-wise is going to depend on how cold it gets, how expensive peak is, exactly how you size things. So that's why in our heat model, we can run multiple options for one building, 20 different options of sizing, control, technology to really see like what's the best solution in this building, in this jurisdiction, given what we expect to happen with the climate and the cost of peak.
Great, that's exactly right. And so for electric utilities, if they want to electrify or help their customers electrify without increasing their peak too much, we have efficiency and DR. They should focus there first. We have ground source heat pumps where they should look into. And there's the third answer, which is partial electrification. So what is partial electrification? It means if you have a gas boiler, for example, you can put in a small heat pump and keep your gas boiler as a backup. And your really small capacity heat pump, let's say it's 20% of your gas boiler's capacity, it can reduce your greenhouse gas emissions up to 80% because it's more efficient and because you keep your gas boiler as a backup just for these cold outdoor air temperatures. So you can reduce your greenhouse gases efficiently, reduce the upfront cost for the customer, and without impacting the grid too much because your boiler is working during the backup.
Yeah, great. And I guess like a key thing here is that gas utilities have a role to play in this partial electrification, and in particular, the infrastructure that they already own, they've already invested in, doesn't actually save us anything to not use those pipes anymore. And so for existing buildings that are connected to the gas network, well, if electrifying 80-90% of the load, but keeping that gas for the backup can save society a bunch of money in avoided peak demand costs, then that can really accelerate the transition towards a decarbonized grid and not really cost us anything more to keep using that gas infrastructure. The picture changes a bit in new construction because it actually costs something to put in those pipes. And so in that case, the peak demand benefit actually has to justify the cost of putting in a new gas connection. And that's where it's much more marginal. So modeling we've done in Canada suggests that for some buildings, the sort of all electric option and the gas backup partial electrification option have similar societal costs, but in some cases, actually that all electric option is going to save you a bunch of money and save you carbon emissions because you don't have to shell out for that gas connection to the new construction.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's for new construction. For existing buildings, partial electrification can go a long way. And what we mean by accelerating this is because customers are likely to adopt them more because they keep their existing heating system. So they don't see a big change there. You add in a heat pump, but they keep their existing system as backup.
Great. So there's so many factors at play. That's why we built this heat model, which can really manage modeling lots of different options to find the best solution for one place. So if you'd like to find out a bit more about that, have a look at our website or reach out to us. We love talking about this stuff. Thanks for listening.